Hello, and welcome back to Mr. Kendrick's online math class. Today's lesson is the first lesson in Chapter 3, Algebraic Expressions. Go ahead and turn to the next blank page in your math notebook and write this title, Lesson 3.1, Algebraic Expressions at the top. Alright, to start this lesson, we're going to go through a few different vocabulary words. So you can, right at the top of this lesson, you can just write these three vocabulary words and their definition. The first one, expression. An expression is a math sentence containing constants, variables, and operations. So in this example down below here, we can see we have constants, which is this 4 is considered a constant. We have variables x and y, and we also have operations, addition and subtraction. Number 2, terms. In algebra, a term can be a single number, a single variable, or a number multiplied with a variable. And terms are separated by addition, subtraction, and sometimes division. And in this example, you can see we have a single number, which is the 4. We have a variable, single variable, which is the y. And we also have a number multiplied with a variable in this negative 5x. And number 3, like terms. Like terms are terms that have the same variables. So the same variable could be x, y, z, or sometimes even a different variable. And like terms are also terms with the same variable and power. So sometimes, like you can see here with the 1, it's just a number which is considered a constant, and there is no variable. Otherwise, you can also see we have x to the second power, and x to the third power. And like terms are considered like when they have the same variable and raised to the same power. So if you haven't written these down yet, go ahead and pause now and make sure you write these definitions down in your math notebook. Alrighty, on this slide, I would like you just to watch here as I go through this expression here. And at the first thing we're going to practice is identifying the terms and like terms of an expression. And whenever I begin looking at an expression, I like to draw some lines to separate all the different terms in the expression. Okay, so now we got our terms separated, and now I'm going to list the terms right here. So we have a 3c, we have plus 5, we have minus 2c, we have plus 10, and then we have a minus 3c squared, or raised to the second power. Okay, so now that we got our terms listed, I'm going to go back into my expression and see if I can find any like terms. And in this situation, we have 3c and we have minus 2c. Those are like terms. And we also have plus 5 and plus 10. Okay, so our like terms here would be 3c and minus 2c, as well as 5 and 10. Alright, on the next slide, you're going to have an opportunity to try a couple identifying the terms and like terms. You have a couple practice problems here. Go ahead and pause, write these two different expressions down, and see if you can figure out the terms and the like terms of each expression. Okay, so for number 1, you can see I've already separated the terms. I'm going to list them out. We have 9x, we have minus 2, we have plus 7, and we have minus x. Alright, now like terms. We have 9x, and we have minus x, and then we have minus 2 and plus 7. Okay, so like terms for this expression are 9x and minus x, as well as minus 2 and plus 7. All right, for number 2, the terms, we have c squared, we have 5c, we have minus 3c squared, and we have 8. All right, like terms. C squared, we have the same variable and it's raised to the same power as minus 3c squared, so those are like terms, and those are the only like terms that we have in this expression. This 5c is not a like term with c squared because it is not raised to the same power. Okay, so in that expression, the only like terms are c squared and minus 3c squared. All right, so make sure that you have these two examples down in your math notes. And the next slide, we're going to look at some more information regarding simplifying expressions. So when we simplify an expression, we want to try to combine all of the like terms and get rid of any parentheses in our expression. So an expression is in simplest form when there are no more like terms that we can combine and there are no parentheses left in our expression. And when we want to simplify expressions, we want to group all the like terms with different shapes or different colors. And that just kind of is a recommendation because it helps you stay organized with when you're combining terms. So as you could see in the previous slides, I used different colors, green or red, to combine like terms, and it just helps me make sure I stay organized when I'm combining and simplifying expressions. And the last thing is we want to remember to circle the number and the sign to the left. Okay, so we gotta make sure we remember if our expression is if we're combining like terms and there's a negative, we want to make sure that we keep that negative because when we combine, that will change the value. All right. On this slide, I would like you just to watch. I'm going to go ahead and simplify the following expression. We have negative 4x plus 2y plus 8x minus 6y plus 1. Now I know it looks like there's a lot of information here, but if we separate it out, it will help us stay organized. So I'm going to do that here. And then I'm going to go back through and combine any like terms. So we have a negative 4x, and that can be combined with a positive 8x. And then we also have plus 2y and minus 6y. So now we can combine these terms. I'll start with the negative 4x and the positive 8x. Okay, so when we combine these, we're going to look at absolute value. The 8x has a larger absolute value, so our number is going to be positive. And then we can just do 8x minus 4x, and that'll leave us with 4x. And then we also have 2y minus 6y, and the minus 6y is going to have a larger absolute value, so we're going to keep that sign. And then we can just say 6y minus 2y is equal to 4y, and that's going to be a negative. And then we also just have this 1 over here by itself. Okay, so now when we combine back our simplifications, we have 4x minus 4y plus 1. And now we have no more like terms that we can combine, and there are no parentheses, so our expression is simplified. So in order for us to stay organized, we can separate all the terms and then circle any like terms and then do the mathematical calculations to combine them and then put it all together at the end. All right, now it's your turn. Go ahead and pause here. Try to simplify these expressions and then come back and see how you did. So we're simplifying both expressions. First, I'm going to separate all my terms. And then I'm going to circle any like terms, we have 9x, and we have plus 4x, and then we have the constants of minus 2 and plus 5. Okay, so when we combine, these are both positive, so we have 9x plus 4x, and that will give us 13x. And then we have minus 2 plus 5, and 5 has a larger absolute value, so our answer is going to be positive, and then we can subtract 5 minus 2 will give us 3. And then we can come back and combine. We got 13x plus 3. And that expression is simplified because we have no more like terms and no parentheses left. Alright, for number 2, I went ahead and separated the terms, and now I'm going to go through and combine any like terms. We have a negative 2x, we have a minus 4x, and then we have plus 7 and minus 2, and lastly we have a minus 3x squared and plus 5x squared. Okay, so now we have all of our terms grouped by color, and now we need to do the math to combine. We'll start with negative 2x minus 4x. So if we have both of these are negative, so we can just add them and keep that negative sign, and 2x plus 4x is 6x, and it's going to be a negative 6x. And then we have 7 minus 2, and 7 minus 2 is 5. And then lastly we have a minus 3x squared plus 5x squared, and 5x has a larger absolute value, so we're going to keep that sign, and then we can say 5x squared minus 3x squared, and that'll leave us with 2x squared. Okay, and now we can go back and combine all our answers. We have, and I'm going to start with this 2x squared. So we have 2x squared minus 6x plus 5. And no more like terms. And again, the 6x is not a like term with this 2x squared because they have different, the variables have different powers. So no more like terms, no parentheses. Our answer is simplified. Alright, I got 2 more for you to try. Go ahead and pause here and then come back and see how you did. Alright, number 3, you can see I've separated the terms, I've circled them, the like terms, and now I'm going to combine. We have 2w minus 7w. The 7 is greater absolute value, so we're going to keep that negative sign, and 7w minus 2w is going to leave us with 5w, and it's going to be a negative. And then we have minus g plus 3g, and the 3g has a larger absolute value, so we're going to keep that sign, and we can do 3g minus g, and that will leave us with 2g. Now we can combine, and we will get 2g minus 5w. Alright, for number 2, I've separated the terms, and then I've circled any like terms. So we'll combine our like terms. We have 9m plus 1.20m, so that would be 9m plus 1.2m, and that'll leave us with 10.20m. And then we also have this negative 2.4, so our simplified expression would be 10.20m minus 2.4.